Hey, it's good to be back in the studio in front of the camera. I got to tell you, this is probably one of the longest vacations I've ever taken, but it was amazingly enjoyable. I feel very refreshed. I have nothing to report for you as far as the theater situation is concerned because, frankly, I just got back into town, and for 2 weeks I didn't follow anything at all as far as are you wearing a mask? Are you not wearing a mask? Are the theaters open? Are they not going to open? I know Europe's ahead of us. Europe is going ahead and opening up theaters and having people go in and not wearing masks. But I'll have probably an update for you on what the theater situation is for the next show. It's just nice to be back inside the studio again and bringing you movies. And I tell you what, I have a veritable plethora of movies to cover for you tonight, simply because I was away for so long. So, cinematic class is about to begin, and your professor is in. Greetings, salutations, and other sundry affair. I am your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies. Nice to be back at the studio again. This is show number 591. We will be crossing the 600 mark, hopefully before the end of the year. We'll wait and see what happens. You know, most of the time you can tell I favor the movies that are the horror movies, the action movies, the sci-fi movies. But I have to tell you that there are two dramas, straight out dramas out there that you really need to catch up on, and they're definitely worth a look. The first one stars David Thewlis in Guest of Honor. This is exceptionally enjoyable, and most of the movie is told in flashback. Luke Wilson is also in this, and I think you're going to enjoy this one a lot. It's a very good drama, and it has good cinematography in it as well. The next movie, and it's a drama again, is called Shirley, and I'll tell you what, the acting in this is very good, and it's strange because you're looking at these people, and you know they're bizarre, but you'll sit there recognizing people you know that act this way. It's a very good story also about a writer, a novelist, who can only write, and her muse only comes to her when she is in time of conflict. A lot of dramas released, but these two are worthwhile. Guest of Honor and Shirley. Here's a look.
I'm a food inspector. I spend my days going from restaurant to restaurant, making sure that things are up to standard. Some of you may have heard about my daughter, what happened to her. What kind of home must she have come from? Well, I can tell you she came from a very loving family. My goodness, how can a woman do something like that?
We have an hour for dinner before we need to leave.
You want to join me?
Where's everyone going?
It wouldn't be everybody, it'd just be the two of us.
He wouldn't have asked you out if he didn't think you were attractive.
A reputation is about to be made.
Nothing actually happened
I want to go to jail.
for something you didn't do.
All I want to know is if that's the truth.
He was messing around with her, so we started messing around with him.
Okay, those are your dramas to check out. Now, I got to tell you that in the 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks that I've been away, there were 4 really good horror films that have come out, and I want to tell you about those. First up on the docket is a movie called Starlight, and this movie plays off the premise that rock and roll is the devil's work. And it's not really rock and roll. It's more like that pop diva music that comes out. Yeah, this one is really good. It has a good creature in it. It has a pretty good horror story in it. I got to tell you that I enjoyed this one an awful lot. It's called Starlight. The next one I want to tell you about is Day 13, and this is, I like this one because they finally did the ending the way it's supposed to. You know, there are a lot of people, horror fans, who think that, you know, if you have something that is really powerful, some malevolent force or something, that you know, they should have some kind of ending favorable to them. This one accomplishes that. Martin Covey stops by in this and has a nice little role in it, all about the occult and demons and things that go bump in the night. It's called Day 13. You definitely want to check that out. This next one, you know, this was a movie that was 13 years in the making. 13 years ago, all the way back when, there was a movie that came out called Black Water. That was 2007, okay? And it was a crocodile movie, and it was kind of, had a cult following to it, okay? And it's taken 13 years for the sequel to be made. The sequel is called Black Water Abyss. I really enjoyed this one. I really did. Now, you know, it's all about a crocodile and a crocagator and all that good kind of stuff. But the way they did this, especially the underwater photography, primo, murky water and stuff like that, this one is definitely something that you want to check out. And last but certainly not least, there's a movie called Monstrous. And Monstrous probably is the best of the batch, because it is yet another Bigfoot movie. And you say, oh, Professor, you don't like Bigfoot movies. I know. Normally, I don't like Bigfoot movies. Haven't seen a good one since The Big Legend. However, that said, this is a monster Bigfoot movie where Bigfoot is not the monster. All of these are worth your time. You don't want to let August end before you catch all of these. Here's a look at the movies I just talked about.
Shit, she looks just like...
Just like...
Is that her?
I don't know who she is.
Dylan, please. You can't say anything.
You are not safe with her in there.
Yeah, did anybody ever live there? Like, before I was born or anything?
I don't think I've ever seen anyone come in or out. I think it's abandoned.
That's weird. I saw something in there last night.
Yo, you find anything?
Check this out. Our neighborhood burnt to a crisp. How does only one house survive?
They're in luck. Our policy is to destroy records after 20 years, but only if the case is closed.
Oh, so was this case never solved?
Well, I'd never heard of it until you called, but when I read the file, it reminded me of something we used to get calls about.
Like what?
Have you ever heard of satanic ritual abuse?
No.
So this cave.
This thing is unexplored. The shaft goes way down.
Ready?
See at the bottom. What do you reckon?
Let's check it out.
What'd I tell you? This is incredible, huh?
Hey.
What the hell is that?
Whatever you do, don't splash.
Do not move a muscle.
This place is really out there, isn't it?
Yeah, tell me about it. This is the street, and then the house is just a half mile up on the left.
What the hell is that?
Hey, Haley.
There's something else out there.
You're not like other girls.
You know, I got to tell you, now in the studio, and even all the time I spent on the sand and the beach, looking good. And I owe that to our sponsor, House of Fairuza, Barbershop and Cigar Lounge. Sam down there does a great job. Believe me, he keeps me looking a lot better than I normally look. And you should all be thankful for that. You owe it to yourself, gentlemen, to stop down there. Get yourself a quality coif. And while you're down there, you can stop in the lounge, fine cigars, great libations, and a whole lot of good times to be had. That's House of Fairuza, Barbershop and Cigar Lounge. Tell them I sent you down. Sam will take good care of you down there. You know, during the weeks I was away, there were some excellent thrillers that came out. You know, I like to differentiate between horror films and thrillers, and some people may say that these movies fall more into the horror film than not, but I'll explain as we go along. Probably, all three of these were really good, I got to tell you. Now, let's start first with The Rental. The Rental is a movie that is the directorial debut of Dave Franco, and folks, he has hit this one out of the park. I believe he could have a possible franchise on his hands with this movie. It is paced well, it is shot well, it is acted well. I can't say enough about this movie. It'll keep you on the edge of your seat, and you won't see the ending coming. It's worthwhile. Stay till the end of the credits. There's an extra scene. The movie is called The Rental. Now, close to that is a movie called Ravage. And Ravage was written and directed by Teddy Grenon. And if all goes well, I should have an exclusive interview with Teddy coming up. And you'll look for that. I'll put a link on the Facebook page. And I'll also probably put it up on the YouTube page. So you may want to keep an eye on both of those for my exclusive interview with Teddy on this. You know, this was a really good movie. I got to tell you, it started out as kind of a female Rambo picture, and then it turns into something you will not expect. It turns into something that is exceptionally gruesome and something that, well, you know what? It leaves so much to your imagination that it will scare you, because what can scare you more than your own imagination? And the last one in the thriller vein is called The Prey. This one is probably a true thriller, and that there's nothing supernatural or gory or anything about it. It is a remake, yet another, of The Most Deadliest Game. Yeah, it's been made a number of times. This one is made in Cambodia, so we get a whole different perspective here. And I want to mention the protagonist is Yin, and he is played by Gu Shangwei, and this is his very first movie. This kid's got potential. I mean, he could be a really good action star. He is solid in this. If you like good action movies, both, you know, gunfighting and hand-to-hand combat, you want to check out The Prey. Here's a look at those movies.
Let me show you out back, and then I'll get out of your hair. The stars are insane out here.
I should have brought the telescope.
What do you need a telescope in the city for? Unless you're like a peeping Tom or something.
You've been putting your camera where you aren't supposed to.
You're a psycho.
Societies have long distinguished themselves in how they kill their own. Torture is the barometer of a nation's creativity.
ฉันเคยเจอคนที่คิดว่าหน้าอย่างแกมันหนักต่อหนักแล้วและจะมีหนึ่งอย่างที่เหมือนกันทุกคนที่ฉันได้เห็นในตัวพวกมันก็คือ เวลาพวกมันน่ะทนไม่ไหวจนต้องยอมแพ้
Okay, now I have some what I like to call fun watches. These are movies that are, I mean, if you want to be critical, you could probably find a lot of flaws in them, but they're an awful lot of fun to watch, and you won't regret spending the money if you watch it on your favorite streaming device or VOD. First up is A Night of Horror, Nightmare Radio. This is a horror anthology. And like a lot of anthologies, it has one basic story that kind of envelopes all the other stories and runs through them. So it is cohesive and holds pretty much everything together on that. I like anthologies, I've said this before, simply because if some of the stories are a little lame, you have other stories there to pick up the slack and keep the movie interesting. That's the case with A Night of Horror. The next a couple of movies are actually offbeat comedies. The first is called Easy Does It. And this is about, believe it or not, a treasure hunt. And probably the biggest thing going for this is that Linda Hamilton is in this. And oh my God, they have her looking absolutely horrendous. She plays the local town crime kingpin, King George. And, wow, it's a very different role for Linda. But it had a couple of laughs in it and was worth watching. The last one is called Where Sleeping Dogs Lie. Boy, this one, wow, it's a very dark comedy. Okay, so if you have that kind of sense of humor, and I certainly do, there's some gruesome parts of this, but they're funny, and you'll find yourself laughing, even though you probably shouldn't laugh at that type of thing. It's one of those things. This is a Murphy's Law gone completely wrong with a robbery. And it starts out as very, very, very comedic and then turns rather brutal at the end. You can't go wrong with any of these three. A Night of Horror, Nightmare Radio, Easy Does It, and Where Sleeping Dogs Lie.
This is a very special night. There's a heavy storm. I'm Rod Wilson, and on this stormy night, we are going to tell horror stories.
There's a dark, dark house. And in that dark, dark house,
there was a dark, dark room. Have you ever gotten lost in the forest? Did you ever see something strange? Well, strap in. Don't touch that dial. The show must go on.
It's very simple, man. You just go in there like regular, just shop around like regular, and then we're gonna come in to do the hostage thing.
Like regular, Carl.
No, guys, don't kill me.
But if you stay here, I'll kill you.
Listen, man, this is about to be a robbery. What?
That went well, huh? Dude, experts, man, that's what we are.
After I take these two bozos down, every paper in the Tri-County area is gonna be knocking on that door.
We could be infamous banditos, man. Butch and Sundance style.
Oh, hell. You're gonna have to bust these po' boys.
And where's your bags? I was told we were taking a trip. We love trips.
I might have something.
What kind of something?
Something to get your sad, pathetic ass out of the credit card debt you're in.
We
need you on this. I need you. Oh, we.
Why'd you do it?
Hey, we all needed the money. It's an easy in and out. Nobody gets hurt. Hell.
So I've told you about all the good movies that have occurred over the last month or so. Let me tell you about the ones that I think you should avoid. Centigrade is probably the biggest. It's getting an awful lot of hype and an awful lot of awards push because it did well on the film circuits. Boy, I got to tell you what, this one was putting me to sleep. It's I know it's based on true events, so a lot of the things that happened here, but it is just presented in a very, very slow and tedious fashion, and very, very difficult to watch. I didn't care for it at all. There's a movie called Parallax. Parallax had a good story behind it, but what they basically took was a 42-minute TV pilot story, and they stretched it into over 2 hours. It did the movie very, very badly. There was way too much fluff in it. I used to go here. This is being credited as Chris Ray's funniest movie. God, I hope not, because I didn't laugh once during this movie. The material she had was rich. You certainly could make something funny out of it, but she failed on all cases, and it was just bad. There's a sci-fi film from England called Invasion Earth, which starts out with a bang, and then after the first 7 minutes, this thing just hits the skids and becomes very, very preachy, and we hear all about the cultural, if you will, machinations of the writer and the director, and it's just wow, no. And the final one is She Dies Tomorrow. There are a lot of artsy people who are looking at this saying, oh, it's so esoteric. Yeah, it's so esoteric, it's a bad movie, and you're really not going to enjoy it. It's just like you'll sit there scratching your head going, what? You know? So those are the ones to avoid. Here's a little glimpse into them.
Just ball this up and go on it.
I just peed on a towel. It's getting colder in here.
I know.
What's gonna happen when the food runs out?
Don't think like that. Keep your strength up.
We have to break a window.
This is insane.
What's insane is traipsing around the frozen wilderness.
Listen.
Is it the baby? What is it? What the hell is wrong with you? Let me stop! Do you want me to lash into you?
Get off! What did you do to me?
How many days does it take to open your eyes? How much time has to pass to feel as if you've forgotten who you are? The shifting between you and who you used to be is perpetual, fluid-like in nature. Pleasures and distastes only fade with time, melting into the surreal persona of who you think you are, instead of who you actually are. The boundaries of my world are endless. A fluid form constantly evolving, changing to its environment. I am fear. I am panic. I am delusion.
She looks at me like she doesn't even know who I am anymore.
If you refuse to take part in the dream, you wake up.
Lucas, leave me alone!
Lucas, do not try! A cold sweat. That chill. A reminder that what you just lived isn't real. There's no sweat. Michaela, please! No chill. Just more of the same. You ready? I can't wake up.
As ready as I can be for whatever this is.
Maybe this isn't a dream.
You've all been sent here by people who think you are broken. I can tell you now that you're not broken and you don't need fixing. Welcome to the Rough It Out Rehab Clinic.
I'm not supposed to be in here.
Aren't we all? I'm sorry. That horizon actually makes me hope there's a better life out there for me.
No one said this was going to be easy.
Nothing in life worth having is ever easy, nor should it be.
Vicky, are you okay?
Thomas! Thomas!
You really don't know who I am, do you? The people love you.
Doesn't seem fair, does it? You're talented and vulnerable, and they take advantage of that. But what if you could take advantage of them?
What if it was an alien? Like a real one?
It's not safe out here!
We're not crazy. Oh God, we're not alone.
Hi. How's the new house? Good. Can you come over? I can't. Are you okay? I am going to die tomorrow.
What is going on?
There is no tomorrow for me.
All right, listen, Amy, I'm really freaking out right now. I feel like you put this idea of dying in my head. Can you just call me back?
You expecting someone?
Jane.
You okay?
I just have this feeling I'm going to die tomorrow.
But how do you know?
I just know. Okay, so you don't know.
She could be right.
You're worried about catching something?
Is this how it ends? Something really bad is gonna happen. I'm ready. She did this. I'm not ready.
Okay, as the saying goes, you are now up to speed. Sorry doing that to my editor. Normally I can, stick a little clip in there and talk about each movie individually, but there were so many movies that I know putting those montages together had to be rather judicious, what to show, what not to show, all that good kind of stuff. So next time, I promise, we will go back to the original format now that I'm no longer at Sand, Surf, and Sea. Now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson.